welcome back to another month of Technical Tip Tuesday. I'm your host, Kayla McGowan, and this month's series is sponsored by our friends at AG Pro Training. Today, we're talking about creating a structured training and career development plan for you and your team. My special guest today is Alexandra Gualtieri, owner of AG Pro Training. Welcome, Alexandra.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, thank you for coming on. I'm excited to cover this topic because it's so crucial to the success of every business. So, I know I mentioned what we're going to talk about, but let's just dive right in. So, what are the essential components of a successful restoration training roadmap? And how can companies align their training with their employees' career growth and their business goals?
Yeah, it's a great question. Most companies train reactively. They wait until they have a problem before they think about training. Someone gets hired, oh, I better send them to WRT, or someone needs a certification, I guess I'll find a class. Or maybe my state is now requiring specific water or mold training to perform work, which we're seeing happen in more and more states across the country, by the way. So yikes, I better figure out how to include training in my budget. And doing training reactively is not a development plan. You're always going to be in that scramble, reactive panic mode. Um, Over the last 16 years of my career, I've seen that the companies that get the greatest return from training are much more intentional. They have a training roadmap that guides an employee from their first day all the way to becoming the person that others rely on for technical expertise. So, when we think about a training roadmap, it's not necessarily a line from start to finish. Try to think of it more like a circle. Um, but the first question that you ask is, what do you want your employee or your company? Where do you want to be in a year or two from now? The question isn't what class should Joe take? You should start looking at business goals first. Are we looking at growth? Do we want more commercial work? Are we expanding into fire contents, mold? Do we need a leadership pipeline? So ask what kind of company you're trying to build and what does success look like. If your goal is to move into large loss commercial work, for example, your roadmap's going to look a little different than a company focused on more residential mitigation.
Mhm.
Next up is to build your roadmap in stages. Stage one is that new hire foundation where you bring someone in, and the first things you talk about are company values and expectations, safety, communication, the why we do things, not just how. Those first few weeks are really about building good habits. Technical skills are important, but if someone doesn't understand your company standards and expectations or safety culture, those habits become a lot harder to change later. Then you move into the technical competence side of things. That's where you bring in WRT or other certifications. But remember that the classroom builds knowledge, the field builds confidence. So you want to get, after the classroom learning, you want to get into that hands-on practice and having new techs ride with experienced ones. And make sure you're gathering feedback. And that's not management giving feedback to the trainee, that's management getting feedback from the trainee. What have you learned? What have you put into practice already? Where do you feel weakest? Stage three of your roadmap is where many companies stop. And this is where we want to build confidence and independence. A lot of companies will assume that because someone passed a certification exam, that they're finished learning. But that's really when the next phase of development begins, where you can continue with more certifications and cross-train in other areas. You can look at, it doesn't have to be certification training. It can be manufacturer trainings or industry events and conferences like the experience. Other ways that you can continue on your learning journey to develop that expertise. Stage four is, remember I said we're thinking about a circle, that last piece is developing your technical experts and making development continuous. People don't become experts because they attended one class or two classes. They become experts because they keep learning and start to teach others. So, leadership opportunities and having your experienced techs mentor and teach others, that's where you complete that whole roadmap. And the end of the day, the key takeaway is this. A training roadmap is more than deciding what class someone should take next. It's about intentionally developing people in a way that supports where you want your business to go. When your employees grow with purpose instead of by chance, you build stronger technicians, stronger leaders, and ultimately a stronger restoration company.
Yeah, no, well said. I really like that you broke it down into a circle because I think most times when people come into this industry, to your point, it's like, oh, I need to go take this certification class or I need to go do this hands-on training. And we're seeing it as an individual task instead of really understanding that it plays into a bigger picture, not just for the success of your employees, but also your business, right? You need to understand where you want to go. I think it also helps your employees understand where they can go, or maybe they can ask if they can go into a different role down the road. And I think that there's so much here that helps your business all around. It also creates a culture that people want to stay in because there's an investment, right? An investment in not only their success, but the business's success. And so I would definitely say this is a great way to start this month's tip. So for all of you watching, thank you for tuning in to this week's technical tip. We'll see you next week. Take care.